Hey there, fellow travelers. Mark here with Wolters World, and today we're here in Deadwood, South Dakota. We're on a 4-week road trip in the fall of 2020, experiencing the U.S. and enjoying our trip. But I thought, for people that are going to be doing road trips for the next year or so, I thought it'd be a good idea to go through some things you really should think about packing when you are going on a road trip. And I really think any road trip, whether it's in a crazy time like this or a normal time, the first thing you need to pack is a good travel partner. You really have to think, is like, who am I going to do this road trip with? Because sometimes you have a choice. You got to take the wife and kids, right? Or the spouse, the boyfriend, or the girlfriend, or whatever. Sometimes you have to do it. But when you're thinking about doing a road trip, really think about who you could actually drive with for long periods of time. Because not everyone makes a good co-pilot, okay? Think about it. Are they the people that are going to have to listen to their music? Or are they going to just sleep while you're driving? These are things you really have to consider when you do the road trip, because nowadays, your road trip is much more you and the person you're traveling with than it was before when you could meet people when you travel, okay? So something to really consider when you're looking at doing your road trip. Now, in terms of things you should bring with you on your road trip, let's think about some of the things you should pack. Look, you're not going to get off the road as much as you used to, so it's important you pack stuff to bring with you, food items and stuff like that. So I always say is make sure you bring a soft-sided cooler. We always have one packed, and keep it packed up with good snacks, lots of water, and drinks, so you don't have to make a lot of stops. If you have to make a stop, you get some gas, you maybe pop in, grab something, and go. But having that soft-sided cooler in the back where you can just reach back and grab something is a lifesaver. I know for us, we've actually packed a lot of stuff when we came on our trip, so we already had a lot of things already prepared. That's why the next thing you should pack is bring some food with you. Look, during this time, because we're not supposed to use the word on YouTube, during this time of travel, what you have to realize is breakfasts at hotels, they're gone, okay? They don't have them anymore. So you're gonna have to go out and pick up food, and that can add a big price into your road trip. So by packing some breakfast stuff with you, if you're gonna stay at Airbnbs or VRBOs or whatever, maybe bring some pancake mix. All you do is add water and cook and you're good. Maybe bring some of those breakfast bars and stuff like that. Things like this that easily pack, that can stay in your car, whether it's hot or cold, it'll be fine. Those are foodstuffs to take with you on your road trip, just so you can kind of eliminate some of the needs to go out to eat every single meal, because again, the hotels, sorry, breakfast is gone. Now, aside from your meal prep kind of stuff to bring, because you're limited in terms of your choice in restaurants and stuff like that, because some restaurants are closing earlier, some aren't open anymore. I've seen a lot on this road trip that are already closed for the season. Really, also, make sure you bring in a good selection of snacks, from healthy stuff like apples and bananas, carrots, nuts, things like that, but also have some of the usual fun stuff like your Cheetos and your Pringles and things like that, because you are going to get hungry on the way, so you do have that. So just make sure, have your breakfast and some meals kind of brought with you, but also your usual snacks and drinks you want to enjoy while you drive across this beautiful country. And with all these snacks and all these things, there's a couple things you also need to pack. One, make sure you also pack a trash can, not just a plastic bag. You can actually get little trash cans for your car that when you get to the gas station, you can unclick it, dump it out, clean it out, and do that, so you don't have all the garbage all around your car, which gets kind of gross. So pick up one of those. Also, I do recommend you bring your own cleaning supplies when you're road tripping. That means have your hand sanitizer after you get gas or pump gas. Have your sprays to clean out your hotel room or to clean out your Airbnb when you get there, because I know a lot of organizations have said we're doing much more to clean. Well, that's true, and a lot of them are, but it's kind of the peace of mind that you've cleaned it up, okay? Because we take wipes with us, we have our spray, Clorox kind of stuff. We also have our hand sanitizer, these kind of things. So when we get to our hotels, or when we were getting to our Airbnbs and stuff, we would go through and wipe down the handle of the refrigerator, turn out the ice that was there, make our own ice. These kind of things you want to do just to make it a little bit cleaner for yourself. Now, I'm not saying the hotels and the Airbnbs aren't cleaning better than you were before, but it's also that peace of mind you want to have. So bring those things with you. Also, wherever you're going, make sure you bring your mask, okay? Because on your road trip, what you have to realize, stores, some restaurants, casinos, museums, you're required to wear your mask to go inside. Now, when you're outside, maybe you don't have to do it, there's that, but you have to realize there's going to be different regulations for mask wearing and stuff like that everywhere you go in the US. So on your road trip, it's better to have a few with you. We usually have, 4 for us, and then we have backups in the car. So store a few backups just in case, because you go in for the night, you take it off, you forget it. There is that. Oh, if you want to get one of these with a little neckband on it, go to woltersworld.store. We have them on there. But masks are something you're going to need to have when you're on your road trip too, which is not something you usually think about, but it's a different time now, okay? Now next, this is something that's especially important for people that are gonna be road tripping with their kids. You wanna get a seat back organizer. You don't want your kids throwing their stuff everywhere where they stand, the feet go, all this kind of stuff, no. Have that organizer so their cords go in one place, their switch can go in another place, their DS can go here, their phone charger, these kind of things, books, kids could read too. I mean, it's crazy. I'm not judging, but you want to have that seat back organizer because it saves a lot of the hassle of getting the kids in and out because all their stuff's right there. Okay, so definitely grab some of those if you got kids to do that, or if you're an adult that sits in the back, maybe have one there so when the driver's driving and someone wants to relax, they can lay in the back, have their snacks there, have their book there, and they can do that. Okay. Now, some other things to make sure you take with you. 1. Make sure you get AAA or some kind of roadside assistance, because when you're on a road trip problems happen. So far on this road trip, 1, we had to get a new blinker, which wasn't too bad. That was only a half-day delay. But then our key didn't come out of the ignition when we were at the top of Scotts Bluff National Monument in Nebraska, and so we had to drive to Cheyenne to get it fixed. It took them 3 days to fix it. Okay, so the whole gear shifter had to come out. It was not good. Luckily, we had the service plans, we had the help kind of stuff, so when we had issues, they could help us out. So do pick up roadside assistance. Makes your life so much easier. If you're going to be renting a car, the roadside assistance stuff makes your life so much easier. So pick those things up. Now, the next thing I want to say to make sure you bring it, it's obvious, everyone takes their phone with them, but GPS, make sure you're actually downloading your directions on your GPS, because here's the thing, when you drive across a vast country like the US, you don't always have 4G or 5G or 3G. Sometimes you have no signal. Going into Yellowstone, no signal. Driving through the Badlands, sometimes no signal. So it's important that you have apps that can help you drive and that'll track where you're going. Whether you have Waze or Google Maps, you download it, maps.me, so you can have your path kind of on there. So in case you do get kind of off the beaten track, you're not too lost. That's why another thing I think it's always good to take with you is a paper map, because your batteries do die sometimes, right? Or the GPS is wrong, or I'm not sure where we are. It's always good to have a paper map just in case, because then you can go to the gas station. Hey, where are we? They can kind of give you directions. And if you're in AAA, you can go to the AAA and they'll give you the maps, no problem. If you're driving into a state, always another advice for you on this road trip, stop in that welcome to Nebraska or welcome to Illinois or welcome to Wyoming visitor center, because in there a lot of times they will actually have a road map of the state and all the other information that you might want to, some place you might want to stop on your way. Because you might get inspired, like we were on a road trip and then we're in Wyoming and Cody, yeah, that is a place I want to go. Oh, Wild Bill stuff, yeah. It kind of gives you that excitement, and so something to check out, okay? So that paper map helps as well. But another thing you want to think about on your road trip is also bring a backup battery to charge your phone, because you don't want to leave things plugged into your phone overnight in case you're parking or doing whatever. You don't want to kill your battery. It's always a nice idea to have one of those with you. I actually have one we leave in the car that actually has a flashlight on it as well, just in case, okay? Now, another thing for those just in case moments when you're on your road trip, you can't always get AAA to help you, okay? You can't always find someone. You might not have it. So it's important that you have a roadside safety kit that will have your jumper cables, any other special flares, things like that, in case things do happen. Also, check to make sure your spare is working, okay? We actually had to get new tires right before this trip because we had a slight flat we didn't realize, and I'm like, wait a minute, that seems low. And there was like a 6-inch nail. I'm like, So it's always good to make sure you have that and check it out before you go. Another thing to pack for your road trip, before you go on your road trip, don't forget to get a tune-up. Check the oil, check the fluids and stuff like that, your windshield wiper fluids. Nothing is worse than driving on back roads in Wyoming and your fluid runs out. It's just not a fun thing. Now, moving back to the kids or for the adults, another thing to make sure you pack is make sure you pack some extra cords to charge your devices, because I know we all have those little USB plugs in our cars and stuff like that, but you'll be surprised how many times you'll leave it in the hotel, or you might go for a day trip and you don't have your stuff with you. Have something that are cords that are dedicated for the car. I recommend a couple because my kids fight over their devices and the one cord they have, I'm like, guys, bring two. bring 2. They're like, no, we'll be fine. Yeah, it's a disaster. Just take my word for it. Have multiple cords, okay? And speaking of those lovely children we travel with, also don't forget to pack some entertainment. Yes, you might have their phone or their Switch or their iPad or things like that, but also think of other non-electronic things to have, because on long road trips, sometimes those devices don't charge or they don't make it. So yes, books, but also think of the roadside games, the roadside bingo you might want to have, or make sure you know some of those roadside, the driving games like the alphabet game and stuff like that. We got a video that can help you out about that. Check those out to help you get ready, because really being entertained during a long road trip is probably the toughest part, because one of you is just sitting like this, or you're driving with your leg, I don't know, however you drive, and then the rest of them are doing something. It's good to have some kind of entertainment just to keep people there. That's why I always say is when you're planning out your trip, make sure you're planning out some stops on that road trip so you can get out, stretch your legs, have some fun stuff. A runs in Nebraska, or go see Devil's Tower in Wyoming, things like that really can make a difference to make that road trip better. Because one thing I'm going to say is right now with how things are, road trips where you're going to have a lot of nature and stuff like that are fantastic, because you can get out and hike and you can keep your social distance from people, and it makes it a lot easier to do it. That's why we did our road trip through Nebraska, Wyoming, Idaho, Montana, South Dakota, because we had a lot more space, so there's not a lot of people walking by, right? These kind of things really make a difference on your road trips, okay? So I do wish you a great road trip throughout America or wherever you are in the world. Get out there and travel again if you feel comfortable. We felt comfortable enough to travel again, and these are some advice and tips we had for what to take with you on your road trip during these years and these times. Oh, also, don't forget to take your patience, because though people are social distancing a little bit, people are still people, and people still like to be with people, and people still get frustrated. So patience is probably the key thing to bring with you no matter what. Anyway, I wish you all the best, and I'll say bye from here in Deadwood, South Dakota. And if you do want to grab some of our gear, like our masks or our shirts and stuff like that, go to woltersworld.store, and we'll say bye from here in South Dakota.